We have Paul Callan, who plenty of experience in the courtroom. Robert Sherman, stay with us. Paul Callan, the former Trump White House attorney. Oh, I'm sorry. Former federal prosecutor Paul Callan and former Trump White House attorney Jim Schultz. I am conflating your very impressive biographies. I'd like to start off with you first, Paul. We learned that a new lawyer had been added to the Trump legal team. Why do you think this move was made at such a last minute?
It's very, very surprising. You would think that the president, the ex-president, would have settled on his team. This is such an important case. But President Trump has had numerous lawyers representing him in literally thousands of cases throughout his professional career. And he's notorious for constantly changing lawyers and changing the top figures who give him advice. So I'm not really surprised that he's doing this.
What are the chances, do you think, Paul, that the Judge Merchan will allow cameras in the courtroom for tomorrow's arraignment, as several news organizations have requested and as the Trump attorneys have opposed?
My own experience has been in Manhattan with high-profile cases that judges normally do allow the cameras in. They may not televise the entire trial, but certainly for the arraignment, I would expect that Judge Merchan would, in fact, allow the cameras in, but it's strictly up to him.
There's certainly an argument to be made for public interest in that. Jim, there has been near unanimity by the leading Republican voices in the party calling the indictment un-American, a travesty, an outrage, a political hit job. You say they're overreaching. Why?
Look, I think the Republican Party's overreaching a little bit on this thing, right? Because, this has been an ongoing investigation for a number of years. The former president is facing all kinds of other legal issues, both in Georgia and with DOJ. I just think they're getting a little far out on this thing, or a lot far out on it to a certain extent, because, look, this thing's going to be decided by a jury and ultimately by a judge on appeal. And Alvin Bragg's going to have to stand behind his prosecution. He took on this case, and he had the prosecutorial discretion to do so. So DAs, no matter how thinly stretched they are, have the ability to decide what cases and what priorities of the office are. He decided that this was a priority of his office, that he wanted to show that, no one was above the law, and that's what you're hearing the Democrats talk about now. But in this case, he put this over other priorities in the office, including crime in the streets of New York. So he has a lot riding on this. So whether he wins or loses, he's going to have a lot. He has a lot of stake in this.
Yeah, he sure does. Jim, President Trump's former mentor, Roy Cohn, a lawyer, once said, "Never get arrested because you lose control." This has got to be an incredibly uncomfortable position for the former president to be in tonight.
I think it's an uncomfortable position for anyone that gets arrested and is facing arraignment and a potential trial down the road for a crime. So no surprising that Roy Cohn said that, because it's true. You do lose control to a certain extent, right down to the fact that they're arguing over whether cameras should be allowed in the courtroom or not. Usually Donald Trump is controlling where the cameras are, what he's saying, and everything around his environment. He's lost that control here.
Jim and Paul, I'd like you both to weigh in on this. Jim, you first. The president has not only attacked the prosecutor on many occasions, pre-indictment and post-indictment, he's attacked the judge in the case. His own attorneys went on television to try and walk that back. They're trying very hard to walk that back. This is dangerous territory to attack a judge in a case like this. Jim, you first.
So look, welcome to representing Donald Trump. I mean, he's going to say things throughout this entire process that his lawyers are going to have to walk back. He's a politician and a public figure first, and he's going to make the arguments that he feels he needs to make in the public eye that might not necessarily be in his best interest in the courtroom. So his lawyers are going to be walking those back. We've seen that time and time again through impeachment and other things that we've seen, other issues that the president has been involved with, since the beginning, even, whether it's the various special counsel investigations or the impeachments.
Paul, what about you? I mean, attacking the judge? My gosh.
It's an act of stupidity and arrogance. You don't want to anger the judge who's going to have your entire case in their hands. Lawyers struggle with this all the time. Sometimes you're appearing in front of a judge who's yelling at you and not going along with what you argue. But you stay polite because you want to get your message to the jury in the end to win the case. But to attack the judge is to create an enemy at the beginning of the case, and normally it's a mistake. Now, Listen, he's had a very successful political career, and that career has largely been based on insulting people. So he brings it to the courtroom. Usually people who insult the judge wind up being held in contempt of court. So it doesn't really work like politics does.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.